Draymond, and one.
Welcome. you had to say like another little thing there. You hear it? It's like when I'm talking.
Yeah, I heard it. You jumped the gun.
You said one.
I wasn't even done
You
with
said
the word one.
Once there's one, it's done. Welcome back, you degenerates, to the number one fantasy football podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mike, with my dear friend, Billy Wilson, and my other producer, Joe Green. How you doing, Billy?
I'm good. Good. We have two producers or just the one other one?
Well, he goes by two names, but you guys know him as Joe Green.
The other producer.
The other producer. We do have another producer.
Let's just call him number two from now on.
Number two.
He's about to get, fired if he doesn't step up his game over here. Yeah. Today we have the NFC South, talking about the Saints, the Bucs, the Panthers, the Falcons. A
lot of moves.
A lot of
things going on.
A lot of rookies and a lot of QBs.
A lot of questions. A lot of question marks.
A whole lot of bad teams. Except for the Bucs.
Two bad teams for sure.
Definitely.
Definitely two bad teams for sure.
I have to say the NFC has not been nearly as entertaining as the AFC will be.
Yeah.
Like, as far as what teams we've covered, there's been, two exciting fantasy players, maybe? Three.
Well, since Breeze has left, it's been downhill.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the NFC in general. Like, the East was boring. The North didn't have a lot to offer. South, not much.
That's why we go with the West, and then we bring it back with the AFC, and then we go right into mock draft.
We
get ourselves hyped up.
I'm hyped about fantasy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
We're gonna start off with the Saints. We're giving you the new information. They're gonna be traveling 28th ranked in the league, 24,000 miles, 30 time zones, and they have the 7th hardest schedule. They are tied for 7th.
28th. What is that? 28th.
Most. 28th most
highest, greatest
miles.
El Largo.
Wouldn't that be 4th most?
Yeah, he's not.
28th.
No, this is how they do it. I don't know. That's how they do it.
So it's
number
20.
Number one is the least.
Okay.
That's how they do it. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You want me to flip it? You want me to count?
From now on, I think we should flip it. Or we don't even need to give them the rank. It's just give them the amount.
Just give them the amount of miles if you want.
Yeah. It's basically 25K.
They're fucking traveling a lot. How about that, folks?
On the bus, on the plane.
7th hardest schedule of the league. They're going to bring back their QB. They also lost their coach. Sean Payton is gone. Their Hall of Fame coach. Everybody that wants him is asking him to unretire. They don't have a new left tackle. They have a new starting wide receiver. Two, yeah. Well, one rookie. Chris Olave, Ohio. Jarvis Landry signed this year. I think the key thing is what are we going to expect from the wide receiver, what they're going to do, and what can James do to support them?
Yeah, I agree. We also don't know if and when Michael Thomas will come back. But there's one guy who I'm interested in. We'll talk about it more in depth, but I'll give you the rundown. This guy currently, what's today's date? June 8th? 7th. June 7th. Currently going off the board as wide receiver 61. Currently being drafted as the 3rd Saints wide receiver. Even though he's got the opportunity to be the wide receiver 1 on this team. This wideout has had 6 seasons. Count them 6 with at least 80 receptions. 6 seasons with at least 800 yards. 3 of which had over 1,000 yards. He once was a very, very dominant force in the PPR world. Then they had some bad quarterback play, a couple injuries. Hasn't produced the same since. He used to be the definition of consistency when he was healthy. You could steal him late in drafts. Could be the biggest value for the whole season. The guy who I'm talking about? Jarvis Landry. Year after year, he's produced, when he's healthy, without Baker Mayfield, I should say, to be top 25 every year.
Every year.
Why not now?
Why not?
Why not?
Jameis Winston. That's why not.
100% agree.
I don't know.
That 1 foot guy might not even mean the starter QB this year.
Are we saying that we're going back to Taysom Hill?
No. I think if there's one team that the Browns trade their QB would be the Saints.
Oh no, that would be just.
I'm the only one on this train wagon, but I believe he goes to the Saints. They have the money because they were gonna trade for Watson. Good thing they didn't, because now he has a couple maybe like 20, 30 more women added to his.
66 women on total.
I mean, they should have just said 69. At least it would have been more appropriate.
Yep.
I think Baker goes to the Saints. But, like I'm saying, I don't think it's Jameis. I think if Baker supports it, I think Landry... Is he going to want to throw back to Landry after he just played for the Browns?
I think if Baker signs here, they trade for him, I don't think Jarvis plays.
You don't think
he's on a 1-year, fully guaranteed contract. I just don't think he plays.
He
That's how much Jarvis doesn't like him.
He breaks his other hip?
Yeah, he breaks the hip. I do love Chris Olave. He's my favorite out of the talent group that just came out of the draft. But quarterback play is somewhat of an issue. I'm a big Jameis guy. I was all over Jameis last year. It was going decently well. He wasn't throwing any turnovers.
He wasn't throwing it. That's the problem.
Sean Payton offense. Gone now. We don't know what we're going to get. A whole new system.
I'm pretty sure it's the same system.
I don't know.
It's just a defense coordinator.
Yeah.
That's it.
They kept everything the same. It's just
Dennis Allen's the coach. That's it. I think the biggest concern is last year, James had 0 games where he threw for 300 yards. He had 1 game where he threw over 230 yards. Yeah, he had 14 touchdowns, but the yards is concerning.
And I'm pretty sure 1 game he had 5 or 4. One of his big games.
His first game of the year he had 5 touchdowns,
Yeah.
and then another game he had 4 against Washington. So 9 touchdowns came in 2 games.
In Washington.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was also throwing the ball to who?
Yeah, the receiving core was not
Marquez
great.
Callaway was his best wide receiver last year.
That's a fair counterpoint. That's a very fair counterpoint.
Traquan Smith was the wide receiver 2 on the team.
Greg's
No, he wasn't
fantasy
even playing.
roster was who he was throwing the ball to.
He was throwing the ball to people just like us. People who won't be on a football team this year.
And I'll tell you another reason why I don't think he succeeds. Trevor Penning is going to be the new left tackle. They're going to lose They lost Armstead to the Dolphins. Penny went kind of early in the first round. Second, I don't even think he should have been a first round talent. I think he should have been early second. He led the league last year in penalties.
The NCAA you're talking about.
Some of it's just because he's a wild man. He just throws people around. But he holds a lot. He does a lot of penalties that are not needed. And to be in this division, I mean, we're trying to talk about how bad these teams are, but the one thing that all these teams aren't, except for the Falcons, are bad defense. You're going to say Saints are good, Bucs are good. Panthers might have one of the best defensive young groups in the league.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
The rest of the offensive line is going to be good, but I would just focus on Trevor Penning the whole time and just get to the pass rush. And we don't even speak about Kamara that much, but is he even going to play? No one's even bringing up the fact that he beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, he has this pending suspension. Obviously, we won't know more until later.
Mark Ingram
at 40
would be. It's still, he knows the offense. Produced last year. He always produces. He's a Frank Gore type guy. You know, he just, no matter how old he gets, he'll produce.
They still have Tony over there at running back as the third running back. I would obviously think they split carries if Kamara is going to be out for an extended amount of time with the suspension. And I think the suspension is going to be more than 5 games.
Wow, you think so?
What do you mean? He beat the shit out of someone just because he wanted to go in the elevator.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
I don't know if it's, at least it's not domestic violence, so...
Oh, it just happens to be...
It's just violence.
Just violence. For no reason.
Yeah. I think he'll only see 4 games. I don't think he'll... 5 sounds... 6 sounds like a lot. But
I would say 8.
8?
Half a year.
Woo.
I think this is the year of suspensions.
He was arrested?
He was arrested, yeah. He went to jail for the night.
Is he charged?
He got bailed. Yeah, he's charged.
Well, when's his court date? What's the deal here?
He's definitely getting charged.
From what it says here...
Is he going to jail?
No.
He has money.
I'm just asking.
He has money. He's not going to jail.
No matter what, he can pay the guy
Yeah.
and say that's it.
CBS says they think it'll be a 4 to 6 game suspension. They said
Okay.
that's
Okay.
much more likely.
And I'll tell you, I think it's heavily going to be 6 because I think this is the year of suspensions. I think everyone's going to get suspension. Everything's going to be hard because of Watson, because of everything else. I think everyone's going to get the hammer. Goodell is simply going to, especially he's getting sued right now about the whole
Gruden thing.
Gruden thing. It doesn't look good. He's going to just lay the hammer while he can. He's a man of power.
Yeah, he's on his way out, so
You might as well just.
he's gonna start.
I will say this: Kamara's next court date isn't until August 1st.
Oh,
That's even worse.
I think, but I don't know if we'll have a resolution on this before the season starts. So this might be something he might play the whole year if the case keeps pushed to the offseason. So again, you're just gonna have to pay attention up until late August.
That's scary because draft season's August. Some people
it's
do early August. Some people do late August. Some people even do first week of September.
It'll be like the year Zeke was like, there might be a suspension, we might not.
Yeah.
And then he
And
got
he-
suspended at the very end of the season. That's probably what you're looking at for Kamara.
That's horrible.
we
It's
don't
tough.
like that. You can see Taysom Hill running back at times. Just he's not really. I think that whole project is really over for him being fantasy relevant.
He's 1 year older. I don't like it.
He's in his 30s.
He got injured. He got injured last year. It wasn't good.
Any love for Adam Troutman before we move on?
Not yet. No. I don't see it.
So many options. It's
Yeah,
just
there's
so
a lot
difficult.
of. It's too many new people to fit in. Trotman is just.
He was all the talk last year. That's why I brought him up.
He had one like massive game, if I remember. Like, he had like 3 touchdowns.
It was at like the end of the year. He started to pick up what we thought he should have been. But there's too many weapons. It depends on what Kamara does. Honestly, if he's back, if Kamara is not back, there's like 100 targets right there.
Yeah.
It wasn't massive. It was just 5 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown.
Love that.
I don't know why I thought it
That's
was
massive for a tight end.
Yeah, it's
That's
massive for a
16
tight-
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But
That's tight end 5 on the week.
You think Jameis can have multiple top 30 wide receivers?
yeah, that's the question. I think.
Yeah.
Can he support all this offense? Assuming they're all healthy in play. Obviously, we don't know what's happening with Michael Thomas, but assuming they're all healthy.
There's no one I hate more than Michael Thomas, I think.
I have no faith that Michael Thomas will play football.
I have no faith that he's the same player he was
No,
2 years ago.
he's
3
older.
years ago.
The last game he hasn't played 900 days since
And
2019.
what's the real reason?
Since 2019, it's
No.
been almost over 900 days.
I thought he played like a snap
He
or 2.
practiced a stat.
He
Yeah,
played.
he
He played
didn't-
5 games in 2020. So yeah, all right.
so
it's
that's
been-
900 days.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's 2022, my boy. Wake
But
up.
Why do you? Because they always say his hidden meaning and why he didn't play. Is it because of coaching? Was it because of Breeze? Was it because of injury? Or
I think it was a mix of all of it.
mix?
Mix of everything.
I have no faith, and the fact that people are still willing to risk him in the 5th, 6th round, right, this early in the year, like just people who are drafting now, see him go, I'm like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing?
Looking at this offense, we're basically looking at Landry, Olave, and Callaway.
Well, wait. Jarvis. Oh.
Jarvis.
Yeah.
Jarvis
you
was
said,
brought in.
He said Jarvis. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You want me to use the last name? Landry?
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. Glad. So that's basically where we're looking at the outside Callaway. Olave's on the outside as well. And then Landry, obviously, in the slot.
Yeah, but all right. But I'm saying assume Thomas is healthy. Is Jameis supporting 4 guys that command 100+ targets? I mean, maybe Olave doesn't, but we know Thomas commands like 150.
Like I said,
Landry commands 120, and Kamara commands 100.
I have no faith that Michael Thomas is going to play football. Have you heard a single report that he's going to be there?
Well, he says.
Have you heard anything about Michael Thomas since mid last year?
Wait.
I'll look it up.
Billy's comment is multiple top 30 wide receivers and Kamara. The answer is no, because guess what? I don't think Olave is going to be top 30, and I don't think Callaway is going to be top 30. Landry, I could believe top 30. So I think Olave is going to be rookie, so I don't expect him to have that chase mentality. I don't think he's that good.
You don't think he's that good?
I think he's going to have flashes.
I think he's very good.
I think you're going to have flashes.
I think he's amazing.
he's
He's not Chase.
He is the best
Okay,
receiver out of this class.
He's not Jamar Chase, but he's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Out of all the things, I still don't think he's going to be a top 30 wide receiver.
That's fair.
I think a lot of it just comes down to who's healthy.
Yeah.
Like, is Kamara suspended? Is Michael Thomas
Yeah.
play? Whatever. And then Jameis they have to throw the ball more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are they going to throw the ball? And at the end of the day, Jarvis doesn't need 10 touchdowns to be fantasy relevant, to be top 30. He gets 7-8 catches for 95, 100 yards.
but I think the question is
That's what he does. He averages 10 yards a catch.
Does he get that with this many guys who are reception players?
Possibility.
I just don't even think Jameis is
I'm
a good
high on
QB
James. I love
a good
James.
QB anymore.
It's tough.
I think
to
he's
say.
better than he was.
What do you mean? They say he's wobbling out there with his
Dude,
knee.
it's June.
It's
Can we
June.
give up with his knee's still busted? He got hurt 6 months ago.
Oh, let's
People are talking about how
let's
Chris
add-
Godwin's gonna be back for the season when we go into the next thing.
add.
But everybody's like, oh, Jameis will never play football the same way again. But Chris Godwin's going in the third round. Why?
Slow. He was already slow.
He's not a running quarterback.
Agreed.
The guy throws the ball over the bayou.
And you have a new fresh left tackle.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I'm
left
not like
tackle.
super concerned
I'm
about that.
I'm not concerned at all about that.
I gotta read reports. I'm a big reader. They say
No,
he
you're
looks like
not.
shit.
You can't even read.
and listen, that could be the case, but like guys can
and
still
you-
succeed even if that's
And
the case.
and you're telling me 2 months is gonna make a big difference on a knee?
Mm-hmm.
No. I see him getting sacked again, and he's gonna get hurt again.
I just want to say,
That was the worry about Joe Burrow last year.
yeah,
Who was one of the 2 last team quarterbacks playing last year?
How many times did we see him? He's like slowing it up. He's fucking.
He got sacked the most times last year?
Guess
Yeah.
how? Guess,
Okay.
Guess how
How's
many?
his knee feeling? I bet
Guess-
it's still pretty good, isn't it? Let's move on.
Guess how many?
Let's
Wait,
move on.
Guess how many offensive linemen they signed this year? Exactly.
real quick. It's funny timing on the Michael Thomas thing. He just posted on Instagram a video of him working out, and they said he should be 100% going into the season.
That's what they said last year, though, right?
Yeah. They say that every
Yeah,
year.
they said it last
Yeah.
I
year.
don't remember.
They say that
And then he wasn't there for 4 games for nobody knows why, and then he just decided he's going to get surgery again.
I just thought it was funny. He literally posted the video 10 minutes ago. of
Love
him
it.
on Instagram working
Love
out.
it.
That's a really funny time.
Post the video right now, you
Yeah.
producer. Fuck.
Yeah.
Next up, that's enough about the Saints. We're going to talk about the past championship. Bucs. They used to win this championship, not last year,
2 years ago.
2 years ago. 27th in traveling yards. Yes, that's how far.
Fifth.
That's the fifth.
5th most.
23,000 yards, 26 time zones. They have 4th hardest schedule. You would expect that for the Bucs. Teams going to look a little bit different. No Antonio Brown, obviously. Right now, Gronk is not on the team. They have a couple of good new players on offensive line. Some retired, some got traded. Well, not traded. They got signed to other teams.
They lost Jansen, right?
Yeah.
He retired. No.
No, Jensen's on the team. They
no.
lost the other one, the
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah. Not Ali Marpet, was it? Yeah. right?
Marpet retired.
Yeah, Marpet
He
retired.
retired at my age, which is not that old.
Good for him.
29, I think. And then the other one went to the Browns. I mean, not the Browns, the Bengals.
Yeah.
Our key topic today is Fournette going to continue to be a fantasy force?
I think so.
And
It's funny. I wrote these notes last night about Fournette. I woke up today to a Twitter post from their beat reporter saying that he looked overweight, slow, and is having trouble with the heat in practice this morning. And I was like, it's not gonna look good in the podcast tomorrow.
no, that's not good. When I drafted Fournette a couple years ago when he was a top 7 running back, he
Same
was
thing.
down in Florida with his trainer busting his ass. He got that ring and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hear these reports every year about Fournette, if I'm right. Like, it's
Yeah.
either every year or every other year. It's 110 degrees in Florida right now. Well, they'll get used to it. So, I had a really nice stat. The Bucs and their opponents hit the over of 50 points in 10 games last year. That's a good stat for gambling as well. During those games, Leonard Fournette averaged 21.7 fantasy points, which is only second behind the running back one, Jonathan Taylor, with 22 fantasy points per game. He also led the NFL in targets. He fell into the end zone 8 times while still splitting work with the Mr. Spinorama, Ronald Jones, who is no longer there. Only has to worry about Gio Bernard. I mean, they drafted Rashad White.
Third round.
Who's a good running back, but he's not going to compete for first and second down reps like Ronald Jones was.
I think only if Fournette gets hurt.
Yeah.
Still,
or if he needs a break
I
or
think
something. He's not truly.
I think he's going to be a good handcuff, definitely for this team.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely not Gio Bernard.
Bernard is definitely going to hold that third down.
Roll, yeah.
But he's also 1 year older. He's not that young running back no more.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Bernard.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Fournette. I was like, Fournette's only been in the league for 5 years.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
Fournette's probably only like 27, 28.
Yeah, 27, yeah.
Gio Bernard, who knows if he's going to make the team? Who knows?
No, he'll be
No,
on
just
the
because
team.
of his age, and if he gets hurt, he's gone.
If he gets hurt.
It's hot down there in Florida, according to Fournette.
Fournette, the funny thing is, Fournette's played in the South his entire life. He went to LSU, played at Jacksonville, and now he's in Tampa, which is just west of Jacksonville.
It's humid down there right now. You know? It's about to be hurricane season.
You think Mike Evans has the biggest year of his career?
It's possible.
I think I would just flop off Fournette, but yeah, continue.
I mean,
sorry. I mean,
yeah,
he
because
said
Mike
his
just
key
didn't
stat.
answer.
He said it.
Yeah. Can he continue to be? You think he's be top 10?
I think you got a good running back for 8 games.
For 8 games?
9 games. He gets injured.
I mean, he played 14 games.
I think that's exactly the reason why they drafted basically a similar running back, Rashad White. I think they're happy with the 8 games. He's going to get injured.
He's happy.
Rashad White comes in for the remainder of the season, and then Fournette comes in the playoffs.
Playoff Lenny.
Playoff Lenny. They did it last year, and then he got hurt again.
Yeah.
He finished in the top 12 last year.
Listen, he's going to have all the volume.
I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating about 8 games. He plays 14.
Yeah, and they sit him for 3 because they're already in the playoffs.
Yeah. This division should be easy win.
You're getting, I don't know. You're getting a lot of production with Fournette this year.
Yeah. He has all the volume to make a top 5 run.
Easily.
Easily. What I'm saying to the people, I would not want him in the playoffs. In fantasy playoffs. Listen.
We'll go get there when the time
fantasy
comes.
Playoffs. I'm not talking about the NFL playoffs. Fantasy playoffs. I do not want him just like
I don't want a lot of players. I don't want half the NFL players on my team just in general. And then you get to playoffs. We talking about playoffs?
He doesn't even know how to win a championship. You want to ask him.
You got to get there first,
yeah.
though, and he at least will get you there.
He gets you there.
You're going to need to add a back
that's why
along
I said,
the way.
That's why I said you better have White as his handcuff.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Fournette is absolutely worth it, especially where he's going right now.
I think Mike Evans is more worth it.
Okay, we can transition.
Should I keep Mike Evans?
I don't think you can, but
I can. But
you can?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a third or
third.
He's a
I
third
drafted him
round
in the third round pick.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
That's very good.
Yeah. So Mike Evans, I think he's going to dominate the first few weeks, especially since Chris Godwin coming off the torn ACL in December. Mixed rumors about Chris Godwin going on right now.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Some people are saying that he's not going to be ready till about week 4, week 5. Other people claiming he ran 19 miles an hour last week.
Yeah, what's that? Grayson, the wide receiver, his teammate, said he ran 19 miles an hour.
Okay.
I'll tell you the difference of why.
That's not very fast, by the way.
No, it's pretty fast.
It's decently fast, but it's not his top speed. It's like 22, 23.
The top plays last year was like 21.
No.
It's like 21 and a half.
I thought someone at 25.
Barkley's was like 21. There's a ton of them.
had
They're
to
all
been
around
running to the
21.
right.
We're talking about plays. We're not talking about kickoff returns.
I don't know. I thought someone hit faster than that.
Yeah,
but either way,
faster.
whatever.
And Godwin's not hitting 25. Anyway,
No, I know he's not.
I'll tell you the difference between running straight line 19 miles an hour and cutting 19 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Well, no one's cutting.
Well, you know what I
19
mean.
miles an hour.
Cutting full speed and
Yes,
running
yes.
straight is totally. The ACL, the reason he's not going to play in the beginning of the season is because he's not going to be able to cut.
Mhm.
And guess what? Guess what he's great at? Cutting.
Yeah.
He's one of those big slot wide receivers. Plays mostly in the slot.
Runs great routes. Could hinder.
In and outs. That's what he does. That's why Mike Evans is going to be one of the best wide receivers this year because guess what? That's the only player he's going to go to, especially at touchdown once he's in that red zone. Until they sign Gronk again, which I assume they are.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I think that's very likely he's back.
I think he just doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to go to OTAs.
He doesn't want to go
to training camp. He just wants to skip to the regular
He's going to
season.
sign week 1.
Yep.
Ready to go.
2 weeks before the season, I bet you he signs.
Yes.
The last preseason game, he won't play. He'll just be there to support them. That's
Yes, exactly. So, huge boosted year
boosted.
for Mike Evans.
Yeah, I love Mike Evans.
I mean, how much more boosted? He had a career high in touchdowns last year. A career high in not receptions. Never mind.
I think it's gonna be receptions.
Wait,
targets.
who gave him that career high in receptions?
No.
When was that? When was that?
Had to be Jameis.
Oh, it was Jameis, right? Okay, I just want to
Had
make
to
sure.
That's when he had a knee.
2016, unless it was Fitzpatrick. I don't think it was.
No,
I
though.
think it was
before
Fitzpatrick.
Fitz. That was before Fitz. Fitz was still in New York for sure then.
Look it up, Fitzpatrick, baby, retired.
I'm
Hall of Fame
trying
career.
to pull it up.
Shout out to
that is
Ryan
funny,
Fitzpatrick
though.
before we went any farther.
Oh yeah, on the career, it was Jameis, by the way. But
Let's
yeah,
go! What do you say, you
it
boys?
was Jameis. Different offense though.
Yeah, way different. We don't really talk about Russell Gage, which is, I think, a huge pickup.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't like it?
I think he's a decent player. I'm not looking to draft him, you know?
I think I think you do sign him this year. I think he's a good late round stash.
We
Keep
said
him on
that
your
last
bench.
year and the year before. And
I mean, he was respectable last year.
Yeah.
770 and 4 touchdowns. He had 66 receptions.
On a bad team.
Let's put it this way: he's like half as talented as Antonio Brown, and he's got to
he's a
fill
younger
that
version.
role.
he's a
Younger version.
Younger version.
What the fuck?
He's younger version. Younger bad
Antonio
version.
Brown is a top 5 wide receiver of all
Literally.
time. You were out of your mind.
That's why I said he's like half as talented. Like Antonio
Maybe
Brown,
half his talent.
Like Antonio Brown's giving you
I
1,400
think
yards. Like he's giving you 700.
Russell is going to give you the same numbers he did last year.
Well, Antonio also was hurt. He was
He's
had
taking
all
his
that
shirt
shit
off.
going on. He ran off the field.
He was getting blowjobs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on with Antonio Brown last year.
He played. Yeah, he played
I don't
7
hate. No, it's
games.
not like I hate Russell Gage. I just when Chris Godwin comes back, there's not enough room for him to be worthy of me owning him. And then he's just dropped, and it's like why'd I waste like a 9th round pick on him
9th round, that's a waste. I'd give
for
those out-
3-4 games? Yeah.
I'd give those out for free.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm tanking this year. That doesn't matter to me. But
You need to take. You take every year because you're never in the championship.
I don't know how you feel about Russell Gage. It's like you
that's
take
what
a flyer on him. That's about it.
That's exactly what I said.
how do I feel about Russell Gage? I don't know. I guess.
You probably get
Why not?
You probably get what you got last year from him, and maybe you get 6 touchdowns instead of 4.
Yeah.
Like like if Gronk's there and he's the 4th option, it could be 5th depending on how you feel about Fournette in the passing game.
Yeah.
You also have to.
The guy who led
You also
the-
have to assume that Gronk plays every game.
Yeah, and then maybe Gage is a great late season play.
Or Tyler Johnson could be ahead of him in the depth chart.
Yeah, that
I
would
don't
be
think
bad.
so.
No, I don't think so. They gave Gage a lot of money to
Yeah.
play that 3rd role.
And I think Grayson's probably ahead of him anyway.
Tyler
Johnson.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll see.
Grayson's a burner. All right, next up, we're going to talk about the Panthers. 15th. It's 15th either way.
No, it's
almost.
not.
You want to say
It's definitely
17?
not. 17.
It's 17.
16,000 miles.
15 either way.
Anyway, 14 time
Big
zones.
math guy.
They're tied 12th for the hardest schedule this year. This team is interesting because we're basically talking about QBs.
Yeah.
Well,
Not-
it's essentially the same team,
It's
really.
essentially the same team.
The same team.
The only 2 question marks are we're going to have Christian,
McCaffrey. Yeah.
and if this offense line is going to be better.
Well, Sam Darnold going to be better.
Sam Darnold was really good for 2 games until Mike picked him up.
First 3 games of the year. After that,
Best run of schedule ever. Downhill after that.
what
That was funny.
I'll tell you why he's really bad, Sam Donald. He was sacked 35 times in 12 games last year. 12 games because that's the only ones he played because he was injured. 35 times is, I think, 2 less than Justin Field.
I can look it up.
I have it here.
Yeah, it's
just
all the way
like
down
all
at the
way
bottom.
Oh,
But
think it's
how
only-
we do this with anybody. How many times was Joe Burrow sacked?
literally the highest in the league.
The highest
in the league.
51
But
times.
we're
Played
talking.
all year. Put up top 5 numbers.
Your argument is a top 5 running QB versus a middle in the pack QB. You need to have supporting cast around you. It doesn't matter if
He has
It doesn't matter.
DJ Moore. He has
No, we're talking about offensive line. Any mediocre non-running QB has to have offensive line. Same thing with Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, the rest of them. All the people on this list. Baker Mayfield had a horrible year last year because of their offensive line.
I mean, Matt Ryan.
Justin Fields, even Justin Fields looked like shit because he didn't have an offensive line.
I'm not disagreeing that you don't need an offensive line, but relating sacks to fantasy production it doesn't really make that much
because
sense.
you can't get the ball downfield.
But we're talking. You just went against my point that Joe Burrow is the most sacked quarterback and still put up great
Because
numbers.
he's on a list. He's the tier 1. Those players can do that stuff. He's not. Everyone knows
For
Sam
3 weeks you thought he was that guy.
in fantasy wise.
Yeah, that offensive line was exactly the same as it was those 3 weeks.
No, they had Christian McCaffrey.
That's not offensive line.
That's not an offensive line.
It definitely helps the offensive line when you have Christian McCaffrey just dumping it off constantly.
I don't disagree with that. That's a better reason than the offensive line being bad.
It all plays into each other.
Yeah.
Last year with CMC, Sam Darnold looked great.
I don't know there's much to really say about Sam Darnold. No one's touching Sam Darnold with a 20-foot pole.
No one.
No, and nobody's
But
touching Matt
you-
Corral with 20-foot pole.
But
We're still talking about him.
But you want to talk about Darnold and whoever's else going to be QB because you are obviously going to be drafting DJ Moore. You're going to be drafting maybe Anderson.
Who is the other option? Sam Darnold, Matt Corral, and who's the third option?
If they trade for Baker.
They don't have anybody else?
No
No,
one.
they have
I
PJ
didn't.
Walker.
Give me PJ Walker on this team.
We've seen PJ Walker. He
Yeah,
sucks.
Matt Corral's bad at football.
I don't know about that.
Matt Corral is not an NFL quarterback. I'm calling it like I see it. Just calling it like I see it.
That could bite you right in the ass early
Could
in the
be.
season.
It could. I don't think he is.
I haven't watched enough of him.
I have nothing to say about the quarterback.
I think a bigger thing is, are you risking it on Christian McCaffrey for a third year in a row?
You're always going to risk it.
I think you have to.
I did a mock.
Same reason at the end of Chris Johnson's career, you still risked it.
I mean, he's not going top 3 anymore
Thanks
in a lot of mock drafts.
I'll say this: if I had the 4th pick and he was on the board, you got to take him.
Taking
You
him.
might win the
You
league.
I'll take
you
him.
gotta take
I'll
him.
take him there.
Listen, we've seen when he's getting 100 receptions a year, he's by far the best
PPR.
fantasy player you could have.
Yes.
So you might as well at 4 just take him.
Yes.
Fuck it. You know, you
I'm
ride or
hoping.
die.
I hope
with
you're not
Christian
get top 4
McCaffrey.
this year.
You're not getting top
I know
4.
it's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged.
You can do it if you'd like. You're still not getting top 4. Even when you did do it, you weren't getting top 4. Do we attribute some of the big numbers from DJ Moore to being without Christian McCaffrey all year? Basically. 10
No.
games without him.
No, I think DJ Moore's still pretty goddamn good.
I know he's good, but the quarterback play is bad.
No, I don't think so. Because you got to look, McCaffrey in 2019, they both played, and Moore had 1,175 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's
And
never
that
had
was-
more than 4 touchdowns in a year. That's actually really
It's
weird.
horrible.
Mhm.
But that was his second year in the league, right?
Yeah,
For
correct.
DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm. I think DJ Moore is steady.
Yeah, I think he's steady.
He definitely had way more receptions, targets last year
That's-
than he ever had before,
Yeah.
like 30 more.
Yeah, he had 163 targets last year. He was more the deep guy last year too. He was longer routes, longer average.
No one else.
Nobody else was getting the ball.
I wonder if Hype Machine, Terrence, what was his name?
Terrence
Terrence
Marshall.
Marshall.
Terrence Marshall actually develops into a respectable
They
option.
just-
Not
this
not
year.
until you have offensive line.
You think it's just that they
I think
can't throw the ball deep to him?
He got sacked like crazy.
They threw the ball to him 30 times.
Did you watch the 30 times he got thrown?
No, I'm not watching
right.
Sam Darnold mid-season at 1 o'clock. You're out of your mind.
This team was horrible.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't watching them. I can't be watching bad football when it's good football on.
I'm telling you, this offensive line definitely will be better. They have arguably the number one offensive drafted tackle they drafted to play left tackle. Etium.
That is brutal. 30
can't
targets, 17 receptions, 138 yards, no touchdowns.
That's like
and he played 13 games.
51%.
51% what?
That's catch rate. Yeah, 17 catches.
Yeah, it's a little over 50%. It's rough.
I mean, he has the talent.
I mean, a lot of people on that team had about a 50% catch rate. So
I think you're just waiting to see if they get Baker Mayfield, honestly. You're not touching another one, DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey on this team. Maybe Robbie Anderson, but let's be honest, that was a disaster last year when everyone thought it'd be.
I think if you want to waste like one of your last picks on Marshall, especially if you're in a keeper league, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
No one's looking at Tommy Tremble at tight end. Like,
no.
It's a rough situation.
Eddie Worth with Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until
You're sure?
Absolutely.
After the mediocrity he was last year.
You gotta
is it like if McCaffrey goes down, he should be owned.
Yeah.
Is it necessary? If you don't own Christian McCaffrey, is he a necessary pickup?
Yes.
Even with McCaffrey's playing.
Yes. I don't think so. I'm holding on to whoever is the backup of my star.
The problem is,
especially injured person like McCaffrey.
Okay, yeah. If you own McCaffrey, you have to have Hubbard.
Yeah, if you own McCaffrey, you have to have him. That's not what I'm saying.
If you don't own McCaffrey, is Hubbard worth picking up?
If you have room for it, why not? You gotta hold all the running. You have to hold all the running backs.
25 receptions in 17 games. Wasn't really getting the ball thrown to him.
10 starts too. 10 starts. He only got 37 targets.
Amir Abdullah had more catches than he did last year.
That's crazy because they picked him up after he was dropped preseason.
Yeah.
Rookie year.
That's why I brought it up.
Rookie
just because
year, he didn't play his last year in college. Rookie year, coming off, he was rusty. Spent this year.
Rust is a real thing. Rust is definitely a real thing.
We're gonna ask Michael Thomas if he has rust. So
Michael Thomas is not gonna play football.
Why
can't
can't Chuba Hubbard, who didn't play his last year of college,
I'm not
going
saying
into a rookie year, can't have a better year?
He's a must own if you have McCaffrey. Yeah. I'd say it's like, if you have a pick to waste late in the
everybody
draft.
has a pick to waste in the 15th round.
True. If you know what, in the 15th round, if he won't be that 15th round. I guarantee he goes in the top 10 rounds.
I'm not wasting my time with that in 10th round.
He's got to be a top 10
That's
round
fine.
pick.
That's fine.
Yeah,
if somebody wants to do
it's
that,
gonna be the person that picks Christian.
Yeah,
is the person
and
that
that's
picks
fine.
him in 10.
They're gonna have to reach for him, right?
Yeah, which is fine.
That's if you have McCaffrey, like I said, that's fine. But if you don't, you're not taking him in the top 10 rounds. Still shot. At least I would.
I wouldn't. I think 12. After 12.
So then we're kind of on the same page. It's just getting there different ways.
Getting your draft value.
Yeah. You want to give me your Ben McAdoo comment on what's his name?
Because we're talking about QBs, we're talking about who is going to play. I think first we have to talk about Matt Rule because he's halfway out the door already. Everyone's talking about how Sean Payton, how they really want Sean Payton to be the next Carolina coach. Guess who else wants Sean Payton? The Cowboys. 2 coaches halfway out the door. I think you still have to trade for Sean Payton, if I'm not correct, because he retired. It's still property of the Saints.
I'm not sure how that works.
And I'm thinking the Panthers would do anything. I think Cowboys would too, to trade for him. And I think this is key just because Matt Rule is going to be looking to win as many games as possible. So what does that mean? He either has to win games or he has to show on the field what the next step is. Expectation. So, I think Sam Darnold starts. He's on a short leash. When does Matt Corral start? They have a bum called Ben McAdoo.
Known idiot.
Known idiot.
It's the only reason I wanted you to say it so I can just say he's a known idiot.
Oh, I know. I'm a Giant fan. he recently just put a comment about Corral, which doesn't look good. It's going to take some time. This is Ben McAdoo. It's going to take some time. It's not going to be easy for him. It's going to be a challenge. I'm not here to make it easy for him. I'm going to make it hard on him. And when he does have a chance to play and get into the games, he's ready to go.
That doesn't sound very promising for
It
Matt
does
Corral
not.
being a good NFL quarterback, huh?
What I think, and
It sounds
exactly
like he's not great.
what I think, there is a game that he's going to start. Like there's a moment in the season, they have a good idea. Like, he's starting here. Whether it be before the bye, right after the bye. If Darnold even looks anything less than great, he's going to be put in just because Matt Rule is out the door.
Yeah, it's his last chance to save his
It's
job.
his last chance.
He's going to be fired regardless. Like, they're just not going to win more than 6 games. Honestly, he's the new
I think,
what's his
I
name?
could argue
Don't
they
say
can't.
Matt Nagy.
No shot, dude.
No.
He's running an
No.
offense. McCaffrey gets hurt every year. The team is in shambles.
I think he had a bad slate on his.
a bad draw.
Yeah, he had
But-
a bad draw.
draw.
But at the same time, I could see the Carolina winning more than 6 games.
Yeah, for sure.
You're playing the Falcons twice. I think the Saints are not a good team this year.
Whoa, I don't know. Their defense is pretty fucking good.
So is Carolina.
Carolina's
defense is
D.
good.
I'm telling you, Carolina's D is going to be scary good.
Yeah, they were good last year. They only got better.
And their rookies got 1 year better. They're going to get their first round pick last year. Their corner, what's his name? The son.
Chin?
Son. Rocky. No, not Rocky Sin.
Any cornerback's rock out.
So, yeah.
I don't even know. Which corner are you talking about? Oh, the rookie. Yeah, fuck. Oh, my
I
God.
don't put defense on this.
Jeremy Chin?
Yes.
No, Jeremy Chin.
Oh, no. Jeremy Chin's the safety.
Yeah.
Who was the corner?
That's not that big of a deal.
Unbelievable.
Defense is going to be good is what we're trying to say.
I mean, they don't have Gilmore anymore. Dante Jackson, Jace Horn. That's who you're thinking of.
JC
Horn.
JC Horn.
Stud. Good
Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn, pretty good.
I don't know. 6 games feels like a lot. I just tell you.
They only have to split with Saints, and I think they're.
What's their over-under?
It's probably 5.5.
I actually think it was 7.
Yeah, it's got to be. 5.5 is too easy to take the over.
I think the Giants are 5.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the under.
I think
Giants stink.
I think the Jets are 5.5. maybe.
Panthers are 5.5.
That's crazy.
I'd
I'd take the over.
telling you, Matt Nagy 2.0.
No.
He's not. I don't think he's a great coach, but I don't think he's that. He's
not the reason they're losing.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think he's the reason they win though either.
He's more of a reason why they win than they lose.
Maybe. I just haven't been impressed by them in 2 years. It's like since he took over, but he did get a bad
You
draw.
were impressed the first 3 games.
I mean, they beat the Jets. It was like
I'll tell you,
scrubs
the Jets.
galore.
They beat the Saints.
They beat the Saints.
The Saints. They're so fucking good Saints.
What'd the Saints go last
They
year?
smacked them in the beginning of the year.
And they beat the Texans. So they beat 3 teams that missed the playoffs. And then the rest of the year they beat the Falcons, Arizona, which was a shit show, and that was it.
That's enough about the Panthers. We're gonna talk about our favorite team this year. The Falcons.
Bold statement.
That was a real bold statement.
I don't know. There's a lot of hype. A lot of hype in this team.
No, I'm just saying favorite team because we talked about them so much over the past year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fantasy that goes into this.
This might be.
Can you do the math here? What is this? What is it? 20th?
Yes. 20th.
Oh, yes, the 20th.
I didn't know. I
20th.
had no clue what you were talking
The
about.
20th ranked
Travel
miles, 15,000, 14 time zones, 9th hardest ranked schedule, which is pretty bad, especially for this team. We have new QB. We have Marcus Mariota. They also signed Desmond Ridder out of Cincinnati as a 3rd-round pick. They drafted Drake London, wide receiver out of USC, who did not play pretty much all last year. Brian Edwards and my boy, Geronimo Allison.
Geronimo Allison.
Wait, they have Gerard. Oh, that's right. I don't even see him on the depth chart. I'm
He's
like,
not.
where the fuck
He's
is
not
he?
a threat. But we have
They
that.
signed him, so I had to write it.
And they also signed Auden Tate.
Yep.
which
I
is
like
pretty
that signing.
pretty interesting because he might be starting.
I like him over Brian Edwards.
I can't imagine Brian Edwards starts.
Anyway, whoever starts, this is going to be a monster offense, and I'm talking about tall. Auden Tate 6'5", Brian Edwards 6'3", Drake 6'5", and our boy
Kyle Pitts.
6'6" monster. This team is huge. We have Marcus Mariota now as a starter for right now until maybe he gets injured. I kind of think Riddler is kind of similar to Marcus Mariota in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Like, do you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. I like that. It's not a bad comp, I think. I think he has the will to win more, but he's also smaller, right? I think he's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I think Mariota's over 6 feet tall. And
Yeah,
then
Ritter's a small man.
Riddler's like 5'11", I think.
Is he? I thought he was tall. I thought he was like 6'3".
Ritter, no, he's not very big.
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, Mariota was 6'4". No, Riddler's 6'3". Holy
you.
shit.
Oh, really?
He's a
I thought
tall
he was
dude.
small.
No,
Who
he's
am I
tall.
thinking of then?
Probably
Matt Corral?
Kyler Murray.
Matt Corral?
Matt Corral. I don't know what Matt Corral is. Matt Corral's not that short.
Matt Corral stinks.
He's 6 foot
We're
tall.
done talking about Matt Corral the rest of the year.
6
He's
foot tall.
6'2". He's 6'2".
That's not real 6'2", 6'1". Anyway, I think Riddler is Ritter. Why is it? It's like
Ritter.
Yeah, you want to say Riddler.
I know,
'cause
right?
That's just
I'm
like
gonna
common.
call him by his first name, Desmond. Desmond, I think, is very like Mariota, and I think it's perfect. I think if you're gonna have one player, you might as well learn exactly how Mariota plays. Cordell Patterson started as running back. They also signed Damian Williams, former Chicago Bear and Chiefs running back. Should have been MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people forget about that.
Never forget.
Never forget, because I had a bet on that.
I keep forgetting Calvin Ridley got suspended for betting on games.
For being a fellow degenerate.
And he didn't even bet that much money.
Yes, he
No, he ended up.
Right. He
he
lied.
was-
He lied about
lied,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
I totally, because at first he said
Yeah.
it was like, oh, I bet like $50 on us
It
to
was-
win, and
yeah.
then it turned out to be way more than that.
It's like 14,000.
Yeah, it was- it
which
was-
is not. I mean, for a player that makes that much money, it wasn't that much.
To be fair, he bet on his own team too. It wasn't like he bet against them. so.
That's more illegal in the.
Well, that you bet on,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
but
do
like
that.
If you bet on them to
fighters
lose.
can bet on themselves to win.
but it's
That's
himself.
a different world.
I think they can only bet
Yes.
to win.
Could you?
Yeah, they can. That's what I'm saying. They can only bet to win.
Yeah.
They can't bet against themselves to lose.
Yeah.
Can you just bet on like a prop bet to score like 3 touchdowns or something?
No,
That's
No, they
crazy.
can't bet on anything.
NFL strict.
You're betting on yourself then.
See, I think you could bet on. I think you should be allowed to bet on yourself. I don't think you should be allowed to bet against yourself. That's where it becomes a
I
problem.
think you should be able to bet on for your team. That should be fine.
I
Why
think
you're saying
it's
you're gonna
dicey.
win?
I mean, they do it. Let's not
Yeah,
all like
it
sit here
happens.
like it happens all the
I'm
time.
telling you, there's players that I know for a fact are betting on
Well,
a weekly
yeah.
basis.
Yeah, they're just not signing in with their fucking first name.
Well, no, they
last name,
have
and social
their
security. Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
do it for them. They
Yeah.
give them the money, and they're the ones who place the bets. Jameis was doing it his last year at Florida State, and no one ever talks about that. How he was point shaving.
Jameis is a good guy. That's why. Because Jameis is a good guy.
It's like
He stole crabs. Come on.
that
Why
was
are
a
we
bigger deal. That was a cover up. The Krebs was a cover up.
Ugh. Anyways, back to the Falcons.
Yep. A little bit about Drake London. I had my concerns. He is known to be the top wide receiver in the class in contested catch percentages, which means big guy catches all the 50-50 balls. Some would say, kind of like me, struggles to get open. Struggles. He can't create space. If you watch tape, if you watched USC in years prior, that is never open. Well, it's not like he's double teamed, triple teamed, just not open. So, just a little side note. This is the NFL. This isn't Pac-12 football.
I think that's similar to like N'Keal Harry, right?
Yeah.
When he came out, he was a guy who never create a separation, caught a lot of 50-50 balls, and that's why he fell to the Patriots, because people are like, oh, okay, if you can't create separation in the Pac-12, like,
It's
where the fuck are
also
you going to
like
create preparation?
Same thing.
Whiteside, who is
Hassan? Not Hassan.
the Eagles wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the basketball player,
JJ
Arcega.
Arcega. He's very similar in size, body type, player type, second round pick. Very similar. I think Drake is a little bit more athletic than him,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I'll tell you what. They have no one who can create separation other than Kyle Pitts because Brian Edwards, same exact way as Jake London, doesn't catches a 50-50 ball, never creates separation.
In my defense, I'm not saying he can't do it. The games I watched.
No, that's what he's been known for. He was known for going up and grabbing those high pointing the ball.
Yeah, he's gonna be great in the red zone. He's gonna be fantasy value. There's value there for sure.
But you got to see if he's gonna be winning these slant routes. That's what, in my eyes, he has to be able to box out in the short, intermediate passes and get that first step. He doesn't have to burn them because obviously he's not a burner, but he has to be able to turn his body and be able to shield the defender and catch the ball.
Yeah, I would have been
not the 50-50 balls. We already know he's going to be good at that.
I would have been much higher on Drake London if Matt Ryan was still the quarterback.
Because of accuracy.
Because of accuracy, he's just a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of my concerns for this team isn't the talent; it's the quarterback play.
I've always been a high on Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
I know you for some reason like Marcus Mariota a lot
because it's never been. He's an accurate QB.
Oh, I don't know about that. Accurate? Like
he doesn't make mistakes and he's accurate.
Why has he been a starting
he's
quarterback?
A pussy. The problem is he's a pussy.
I was gonna say the reason why he doesn't make mistakes is because he doesn't take many risks.
Yes.
So I think that'd be more of.
So he's never. So you guys are saying he's never gonna throw the ball to Drake London?
He will because when he has to.
Honestly, I don't know how this offense is gonna play.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really
weird.
Really weird.
And probably the only. I mean. I kind of like. I can't say his name. I'm not gonna say it. Zacharias. I kind of really like. I just don't think. I don't like. Mariota's not gonna be able to just give it to him and make him a fantasy wide receiver.
I think similar to the Panthers, there's probably a timeline where they're like, okay, we suck. Like it's time to bench Mariota and go to Ritter.
Yeah.
Desmond.
Zacharias would be a great like best ball guy. He'll have one game where he gets like 35 fantasy points.
I think
be great.
He's a burner.
Like late rounds for best ball. Other than that, I don't really see much value. It'd just be like a big matchup thing. That'd be a week to week pickup on the waiver wire. It's not like a draftable guy, I don't think.
I think everyone's focused on Kyle Pitts this year. Second year. Last year finished great. Just needs the touchdowns. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of old stats to back up why I think Kyle Pitts is going to have one of the best tight end seasons of all time. Last time Marcus Mariota was starting QB for the Tennessee Titans, he had a very similar, shorter tight end named Delaney Walker. 2015 and 2016, as a QB, Marcus Mariota threw a ton to the tight end.
I can do the math in my head if you'd like.
2015 had 133 targets to Walker. 2016 had 102 targets to Walker. Both seasons, Kyle Pitts finished second overall at tight end.
Not Kyle Pitts. Definitely Delaney Walker. Kyle
Delaney
Pitts is in
Walker,
middle school.
Delaney Walker finished second in total tight ends and 244 fantasy points. 2016 he had 188.1 points, finished fifth overall.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't hate it.
Now, but that's a long
I
ass
do
I like
say,
it.
Now is a long ass time ago.
I like the next stat he's going to come up with much better than this.
But I also just want to say, when you look at those Titan teams, the receivers were Rashad Matthews and Tajay Sharp. Oh, and Kendall Wright, who was a massive bust at the end of the day.
Didn't Matthews tweet at us because he's got nothing better to do at this time? Right?
Yeah, I think he did.
That's what it was.
Matthews, in the year 2016, was the number one receptions and yards for the Titans that year.
Yeah,
that means little to nothing.
But that was what they were dealing with. Delaney was the best receiver on the team for both those seasons.
It's the same thing that's going to happen for the Falcons, is it not?
Correct.
So
yeah,
correct.
Now we have to fast forward because we don't have a large sample, and Marcus Mariota hasn't played.
He's played what, like 4 games since then?
Yeah.
The last time he played was in 2020. Last time we have a big sample. Marcus Mariota threw to Darren Waller 12 times, had 9 receptions, 150 yards, 1 touchdown.
I guess decent defense in the Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah. Loves the tight ends.
Loves the tight ends. And if there's another tight end you can compare to Kyle Pitts, it's probably Delaney Walker or the old San Francisco.
I think Delaney Walker's a stretch.
Yeah, Delaney Walker.
I'm saying athletically.
He's a big boy.
Pitts is
way faster, way more athletic.
There's not that many Kyle Pitts in the world.
That's none. That's why he's such a
there's none
hot name.
There's none, and that's why I have to. If there's one you're gonna compare, I would say Walker and the other San Francisco tight end before this.
Before Kittle?
Before Kittle.
I don't know who you're talking. Is that about the Hall of Fame? Vernon Davis.
That's a better comparison than.
That's a better comparison than Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker was pretty. It was super
Kyle Pitts
athletic.
I don't know.
They were rushing him.
Rushing him.
He has a ton of rushing.
He was fast, but he wasn't like a guy who's high pointing the ball. Like Kyle Pitts, there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is the
best
player on this team.
He can't high point the fucking ball. He has no touchdowns.
That's not all his fault,
It's not. They were very rarely in the red zone.
Anyway, I love the targets. I think Marcus Mariota is obviously going to feature Kyle Pitts. And if anything, in the year 2016, it does show that Marcus Mariota loves to throw to both a tall wide receiver who was that bum who was the one that comments to us. Matthews is very similar to Drake London as well. He's a big wide receiver. And Kyle Pitts.
I would much rather throw it to a tall person than a short person. That's
just facts.
I guess. I have no faith in Mariota.
This is one of the worst defenses in the league.
Very true.
Which they're going to be playing from behind in almost every game.
I'm playing from behind a lot.
Yeah. I have a question that we didn't really write about in the notes. I'm just thinking about it now. How do you feel about Cordero Patterson now that you have not one but two mobile quarterbacks on the team? That we don't need to just run trick plays all day long for the running back.
Yeah, like Matt Ryan last year, you never had to worry about him taking off.
Yeah.
And not to mention they were probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Like last year they were respectable. Weren't they like a 5-6 team?
Yeah, they were
really
respectable. There were some games that they came back in the fourth and they won. And
they nearly beat the Bucs once.
Yeah. No, they were in.
They won 7 games. Yeah, I'm not crazy.
They were in every game.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to happen.
They were in every single game, and they just converted more in the fourth quarter than the Lions.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's going to be the case. So I don't think they're going to be running the ball a whole lot. And yeah, you add a rushing quarterback.
2 of them.
2 of them.
No.
It's not great. Yeah.
I just throw it out like it's not great, right?
I wouldn't be jumping at the idea of drafting quarterbacks.
Yeah, after the year he had last year, I don't know.
He's probably going to be one of the most overdrafted running backs this year, I would assume.
Yeah, I don't know offhand where he's going.
He's definitely on if I have to draft him, I'm definitely praying.
I mean, yeah, he's like one of those guys you're kind of like not feeling good about, but you have to if you're in the 4th round and it's like, all right, he's the only starting running back left. Well, fuck it, I got to take him.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I'm still.
Yeah, it's the whole offense is.
I didn't trust him last year. You know, as he was putting up great numbers and whatnot, and I was like, I don't know. Like if you roll back the tape from last year, I'm like, it's not sustainable.
We kept saying that,
and he just kept doing it because they didn't know how to.
Shit.
Yeah, they just didn't know how to run an offense.
Well, at the very end of the year, he was shit. If you look from week 14, 17, I mean, he didn't do anything. He did not play well at the end of the year.
I love that.
I mean,
but makes me feel better.
Real quick, just touch back on Kyle Pitts. How concerned are you about drafting him because he's going very high with Mariota as the quarterback?
I'm not worried. Not a 0 chance.
Well, yours your keeper, so
yeah. If we're talking redraft, we're not talking our league.
Well, you guys were. You said he should go in the 2nd round last year. Why are you worried?
He's going at the very beginning of 2nd rounds now.
Okay, you went from 12 picks later, and then now he's the first pick in the 2nd round.
He's going behind top 5 running backs. That's not okay.
But it's tight end. And we always said if you have one of the best, if you have Kelsey, you had a 10% chance.
Yes.
Kelsey's
also
is
backed behind
Patrick Mahomes.
And the only difference, if Kyle Pitts had fucking 5 touchdowns, he'd be better than Kelsey.
Maybe I'd have to
Kelsey
look back.
missed games last year too, didn't he?
Yes, he had COVID for a game and whatnot, but
The vid got him.
talking
He was
about
never the
5.
same after the vid.
We're talking about
Tyreek
5
Hill left after the
touchdowns.
vid.
yeah, you're right. If he gets a touchdown, I think you'll see a positive touchdown regression, and that should help. But like Mariota's not Matt Ryan, and I don't even like Matt Ryan that much, but he's definitely
I don't hate Matt
better
Ryan
than
this
Marcus Mariota.
Stats are proven.
year.
I showed it.
I like Kyle Pitts.
He's
I do.
I like Kyle Pitts. I liked him better last year, especially in our league, with the opportunity to keep him at 201. That's steep.
I think right now he's being overdrafted. That's
steep.
my concern. But if he hits his ceiling, then
It's like what we talk about every year. Are you taking Kelsey in the first round?
Yes.
Because you're not.
Maybe
You would
not-
have
maybe not-
eaten shit last year if you're taking Kelsey in the
any
first
other
round.
I took
year.
him in the first round last year.
Yeah, so did I in one league. Usually, if I'm in first round and Kelsey's there, I would take him.
The stat that is like a stat, and I have more on that as we get closer to drafting. But
I mean, he's getting 1 year older, so
yeah, but that I think his situation just changed so much from last year.
Yeah,
but
we'll get into that when we talk about them.
But I think
in
there's
theory,
a lot to like about Pitts because the opportunity is clearly number one guy. He's going to see a lot of volume.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, is Marcus Mariota good enough to throw him the ball 10 to 12 times a game? That's where it gets interesting.
a decade ago, Mariota loved the tight ends.
Guess what? He doesn't throw deep.
Yeah.
It's a safety blanket, and guess what? I'm expecting 133 targets.
Hey, listen, that's not impossible. That's not impossible.
Wait, how many? I don't know how many targets he had received last year. Do you have
That's
that?
fine.
Pulling it up
That's
right now.
about where I'd have him at 135.
Last year he had
145.
110.
Yeah,
Yeah,
At
130. That's easy.
He could do 130. No
I wouldn't be
question.
shot to 180.
There he goes.
All right.
There he goes.
Now we're
he's
talking,
off the rails.
Now you're
No.
thinking he's
No,
Devontae Adams or
133.
something, like-
133 is very doable.
Yeah.
Flip it. 133.
133.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
I'm at 137.
What's the
Yeah.
over under?
5 touch. The question is touchdowns.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Having a rushing QB might help get the touchdowns.
Having Drake London
Yeah.
will help.
A rollout and then a
Scramble QB, and you got one just hanging out there. Tall guy, just throw it to him.
Just hanging out there.
4 tall guys out there. Just throw it up to him. Somebody's catching touchdowns.
It's definitely one of the tallest wide receiver corps I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. We got anything else?
Nope.
All right, Mike, close this out.
All right, guys. We're out of here. Smooches. Follow us on everything. FFD_
podcast.
Follow our TikTok. FFD. FF Degenerates. Everything will be on the last page like I requested this week.
Yes.
I hope
Hit
so.
that. Follow, subscribe, send us love, send us love letters, send us everything, send us beer, send us everything. We love you. Bye.